Hey there folks, my name is Kurn. Welcome back or welcome to my channel. Today, we are going to continue with Root Tree Mania. In reality, this is just a couple hours after episode 8, I guess. This is episode 9, if I'm not mistaken. I've had dinner. I watched Severance. Thumbs up if you like Severance. And I'm gonna try to lock in some bloody people. So here we go. I need last names. And it drives me crazy because here in Quebec, women do not take the names of their spouses automatically after a certain year. So while my mom has my dad's name, my sister-in-law does not have my brother's name. And that would make things a lot easier. But here we have bloody Joanna Fellows and Sonia Suarez. Yeah, so that's not helpful to me in the slightest. Okay, this was saying, I looked at a hint in the last episode. It was saying that some of the old stuff that we looked at could potentially be useful. That's not what I want to do. God, what a freaking family, eh? No, that's that. No. What's his name? Morton? Madsen? Morton? Morton? Zachariah Morton. Ugh. No. Okay. Hasn't been updated. As far as you can tell, Carl and Brenda Ritchie never had any marital issues. You do come across an article about a Kristen Valdez, oh no, who claims to have been Carl's high school sweetheart before Brenda. She does not make any claim about having had a child with him. She just appeared to be paid to talk about his early life. Most of it is boring. She says that they met when he was sent to a private school near her hometown and broke up when he graduated and moved back to Butler County. Okay. I don't like this. It seems to me that the men in this family cannot keep it in their pants. So, Carl and Kristen Valdez, question mark. We will search for her. Oh. Okay, well, she's in Butler County, so Kristen Valdez. Did I not spell that right? Kristen Valdez. Oh, she's not from Butler County. My bad. Okay. We'll come back to that. What else? No. No. Okay. Died in a plane crash. They did do a story. There's no useful information. If you'd like to read old articles, including the previous version of this one that mentioned Ernie Jr., feel free to use the time travel interface. Ernie is from 1990. Carl took over as the 5th from Ernie Jr. Illness was the reason Ernie Jr. stepped down. Oh, okay. Right. Butler County, Raina, Lauren, 5 pieces. Oh, what happened to Stephanie Jones? Seems Brian Jones has been busy updating Stephanie Jones's campaign website. 2 new sections exist. The first is baby photo. There you see a picture of their new family together in the hospital. According to the site, our daughter was named after her grandmother, which ended up being very fitting considering she was born the night before Christmas. So, Brian and Stephanie, daughter, December 24th, 1998. Because where are they? Stephanie after the grandmother. What? Her grandmother was Clara? What's that got to do with? Okay. Oh, what was I looking at? I was here. The second is what's next. There's not much of substance right there right now, but lists some small accomplishments. The recent rise in popularity and controversy surrounding my extended family, there's been some extra attention on me. Stay tuned for announcements in the coming months about how I plan to use this publicity to accomplish bigger and better things. Aww. Brian Jones posted this photo of his family together in the hospital following the birth of their newborn girl. His new daughter is wearing an adorable little Santa hat, and his wife Stephanie is giving her signature thumbs up move from her campaign literature. That's cute. So I wonder if that is them. She is a politician. Stephanie Landon, right? His name is Brian Jones. No? This is this. I believe her name is going to be Clara. Or not. Jones baby. One moment, please. This is the generation. Gwendolyn. Gwyneth. Elias. See, I chuckled originally because I thought this was like her grandmother, but no, like that's her second cousin once removed or some damn thing. That's exactly that's exactly the relationship. Yeah, because these are second cousins, and then that's a second cousin once removed. That's hilarious. But what the hell's her name? It's not Clara. And it's not Gwyneth, Gwendolyn, any of those. Wow. 2 Victors. And a Valerie. Oh, Jesus. Born the night before Christmas. What's a Christmassy name? Christine. I mean, to be fair, we don't know her other grandmother's name. It could be Christine. Well, let's look up Brian Jones again. Oh. What was his, what was his thingy? Jones website or something? Jones Art. Jones. Jones Graphics. And Art. Hmm. Yeah. Well, let's look up Brian Jones. Jones Graphic and Print. There we are. It's unchanged except it lists a few new clients. Though all of them are in and around Butler County, none of them appear to be related to your search. Well, that's poopy. What about the Miracle Network? We know this already. Root Tree Motors. Already seen. Can I stop being in this mode? Oh. Okay, fine. Reminders. Lauren's diaries. Many were featured in periodicals. Caroline Morton. Oh, what is November Root Tree up to? Really? Rude. After the release of Six Pieces, Caroline Morton did a television interview. Someone has uploaded a partial transcript of that interview on the television section of the messaging community. The transcript is only her answers and is missing the questions. This creates a somewhat confusing reading experience, but does give you a bit more history about Caroline and some of her family members. 45 minutes. Thanks for having me. I never really fit in the family. She could have put me in if she wanted to talk about it at the time during my activism days when I almost got arrested for stealing the spark plugs out of her tractors. They never tried to kick me out or send me to live on a farm. It's pretty unpopular, and once everyone learned why I divorced my husband, few people paid me any attention. She's my wife. Not legally, but we've been together for half our lives. Call it what it is. I was 20 and had just had my daughter. I hate to look back on that time because I was a terrible mother the first few years. I left my daughter with my ex-husband and followed Guy on a private jet to Europe. He lost a tooth and a client. I found love and a better understanding of who I was. Still, in our family's eyes, his trip was somehow more acceptable. Explain that. No, I couldn't stand him. Our family wrote off his behavior like he was some huge fan of romance or women. Hang on. Okay. He didn't like the entire woman. It was doubly awkward for me because he was more supportive than most. Slowly figured out it was because he assumed I would be as shallow as he was. He was a workaholic. He seemed nice enough and did a good job. I didn't know him well. That was one of Sam's problems with our family. None of us did except Carl. Honestly, I get why she's pissed. I'd rather not speak ill of the dead, not unless you want more stories about Guy. With Carl, though, all I can say is we used to be friends before they sent him to private school. He came back a lot judgier. Made sense when they made him president. He was a lot like my father after they disciplined the fun out of him. After I started protesting the farms, he stopped returning my calls. Oh, well, he's harder to label. When I was a teenager, he was basically drunk or high or both all the time. He actually used to sell me pot. His problems with women were different than Guy's, but he never really judged me. I guess he knew it would be pretty hypocritical to judge anyone for anything. Back then, he was destructively unreliable in every way, but nowadays he's just kind of boring and old. I prefer that to how he used to be and to Guy and Carl, but it's still a cautionary tale. I hope I'm never that boring and old. I wonder who she's talking about. That's interesting. Okay, I have to search for Root Tree Australia and Root Tree Europe. Root Tree Oz is one of the companies created to manufacture and distribute Root Tree candy. It was developed as part of the Root Tree Everywhere initiative in summer of '79. According to a history website for Root Tree Oz, Charles Martin, write that down, who owned a company that manufactured licorice in Australia, was tapped to run the Root Tree factory after he impressed the American leadership of the Root Tree Candy Company at that time. So that was that had to be under Guy. Root Tree Oz did have some success, but only in certain regions. The manufacturing leg of the company shuttered in '92 after the death of Martin, and Root Tree Oz now serves as an importer and distributor. Okay, so let's look up good old Charlie Martin. Charles Martin was a candy manufacturer in Australia, born 1923, which is not as old as it seems now. He's not 102 if he's still alive, which he isn't, I guess. But he would have been like 76. Most of his history is unrelated to the Root Trees. In '79, he helped develop Root Tree Oz. He used his own wealth, distributed maple treats through the same methods. A website about Australian commerce mentions that he had a very unusual business agreement with the main Root Tree company in the U.S., much how the Clancy Trust distributed the profits from the Root Tree company evenly to the Root Tree family. The profits of Root Tree Oz would be split 50-50 between the American Root Tree company and Martin himself, for him to do with what he wishes. This made Martin very, very wealthy, but also led to many cost-cutting measures and to increase profits as much as possible, especially towards the end of Martin's life in the early 90s. Root Tree Candy gained a poor reputation in Australia, and sales suffered immensely. Charles' vast fortune was passed along to his daughter, Robin Martin, who sold both businesses at first opportunity. Wait. There's somebody named Robin. Who is Robin? I've seen that name before. I know I have. I'm not crazy. Aha! I have no idea what I wrote. Susie something. Okay. Well, let's check out Robin Martin. Robin Martin is listed in many of the top 100 wealthiest women in the world lists. She owns a private island off the coast of Australia where she reportedly has her own exclusive retreat. She has no husband, and there was a widely circulated rumor somewhere in the mid-70s that she had a medical procedure to ensure she never would have children. You find a joke on a site called Edgy Jokes that implies she's quite promiscuous and has a punchline involving Robin's eggs. For what it's worth, Martin seemed to lean into the rumors. In the 80s, she once showed up at a charity function with 3 very attractive men, each wearing a shirt that simply said "satisfied partner" on it. Okay. Robin Martin. So she was alive and potentially promiscuous around the time that her dad was doing all of this stuff. So Robin is a possible person that guy slept with. Can I just search that? No. Search this. Besides the jokes about Robin's eggs, there's a lot of jokes about the band U2 for whatever reason. Okay. Okay. Who had a very useful website. Was it the Chris Rafferty one? Chris Rafferty's prodigy sites seem to have been discovered by the masses. Gone are the art pictures of his cousin. Instead, it's a list of questions that people kept emailing him. The most relevant ones are the following. Are you the son of Clark Rafferty? Yes, but I didn't grow up with him. I remember him from when I was a little kid, but I moved away with my mom when I was very young. We left Pennsylvania and moved back home to Virginia. We lived there with Pete, step dad to Chris. My dad and I spoke a few times when I found his phone number on a check he sent us in the mail when I was 15. He was happy to hear from me, now calls me once a month and came to visit me at college. He tells me about things I don't remember and people like Guy Hudson and Ernie Madsen. Look at Ernie again. My dad and I get along, but obviously we aren't very close. Did you ever meet the Root Trees? I used to know the Root Trees, but never the sisters. I was in the office sometimes when I was a kid, and I definitely met Guy Hudson before he died, but I don't remember. My memory is weird. It's hard to know what I actually remember and what I only think I do because I have pictures. For example, I have a photo from when I was 5 and in the office with my dad and Guy was there. I made myself sick by eating chocolate. Some woman who I don't know cleaned my face. I don't know if my memories of that come from the picture or not. The photo has been added to my evidence. So that would have been 1980. Chocolate. How did you have proof of Ernie Madsen's heart condition? I knew Ernie had a heart problem because my dad told me on one of our phone calls. I asked him about the poison because I saw it on the Root Tree Curse website. Something else to look at. And he emailed some old stuff, including the proof, but even with the proof, the website didn't take it down. You spelled fiancé wrong. I'm not good at spelling or writing. I'm good at painting and other art. I'm going to school to learn how to edit movies. I want to make cartoons someday. Lulu is much better at spelling. Okay. Okay. Oh boy. So that's Guy. That's his dad. That's him. And that is a lady of Asian descent. Who the hell is Chris Rafferty? Chris Rafferty. Clark Rafferty. Okay, so that's Clark. I would pay money to get one name. Family Man has been reprinted. Did I not look that up? I did. I looked this up. It said it wasn't there. Maybe I just have to do Family Man. Oh, now I get it. During your first search, this book had a picture of the farm on the cover. This version includes a portrait of Elias. The dictionary defines propaganda as information, especially of a biased or misleading nature, used to promote or publicize a particular political cause or point of view. Fascinating that I'm doing this as whatever is happening in America is happening to America. But if they were to replace that definition with a picture, it would be a picture of this book. The book tells you nothing new about Elias, and from what you know of his true feelings towards some of his extended family, you're not sure it tells you anything true about Elias either. The reissue of this book was so lazy that they reused the famous photo of Elias from Business Watch, whose copyright had expired. The best thing it had going for it is that it's only 85 pages long. Okay. Oops. Okay. Maybe I should look at Business Watch again. Elias root tree. No. So now Danielle Franks is married to someone named Pete. I'm still certain that this is all right. Oh, I don't know about Christine. Oh, Carol, maybe? There we go. Ah, Christmas Carol. Oh, boy. Wow. That's it, Oh. Sam!
Has Clark reached out to you? Well, let me give you a short history lesson about the last few months of my life.
Oh, boy.
3 different people contacted me, claiming that somewhere in their history, they might be root trees.
I believe it.
First, that young man, the rapper. I ignored that one. He seemed dubious. But then I saw the news. I felt terrible. So I began helping the others.
Ooh.
Because my doubts with Felix were so misfounded, I ended up putting too much faith in the second person that approached me.
Jane Doe.
I went to the media prematurely. I admit my mistake there.
I still don't think it's a mistake.
The third person who contacted me also had a credible case. Before I could help, the company got to them somehow. The fact that the family silenced them doesn't seem to fill me with hope when it comes to Clark's intentions. But you're making progress based on the leads he gave you. It's really hard for me to get a read on him. I'll let you handle it. I've sent you the case I've been working on, and some company records I managed to track down.
Nice.
The records are quite dense, but hopefully they're useful. Good luck.
Thanks. Appreciate. Oh, gee, yeah. Jesus. This photo was given to you by Sam Madsen. A woman named Regina Clementine came to her and claimed that her husband has confessed he thinks he's a root tree. Details of this case can be found in your evidence. Stuart is the older boy wearing a vest. The woman in the photo is Mary Beth Clementine, a singer who may have had an affair with Miracle Root Tree. Well, damn if he doesn't look like one of the miracles. Interesting. Okay. From 6 pieces at prodigy.us to genealogy genie at prodigy.us. This is all the information I have about Regina. Oh, God. Regina Clementine. Nay Salazar. From Nolans. And her husband, Stuart Clementine. She wrote to me about a month ago. Apparently, the Root Tree lawyers went after her since then. By the time I received her letter and called her, she told me she couldn't cooperate anymore. Her husband, who is a police officer, and never knew his father, told her he thought he might be a root tree. But he's estranged from his family and didn't want to pursue it because he had no proof. She wrote to me behind his back. Normally, I wouldn't be so sure, but she had some pretty credible facts. Some of it I've been able to confirm. Stuart's mother was... God. Stuart's mom was Mary Beth Clementine, singer who went on tour to a lot of churches. Know for a fact that she came to Butler County a few times. And Regina said that Stuart told her that they always spend a lot of time at the Miracle Church. Please consider saving a tree and not printing this email. Whoops. She sent me a photo to prove. Right, okay, that's what we saw. Miracle? He's such a dick. Wow, company records. Oh my God. Jesus. Oh, look. Samantha Madsen, John Miller. Zach would retire. Guy would take over. Patrick Decker. Eli C. No longer employed by Root Tree. Ernest Madsen, Product Management. Christine Farrow, Joanna Robertson. Ha ha! Joanna Robertson. F yeah. Christine Farrow, but Christine Garland has been hired. What? Oh. Is it just me or are there like 18,000 leads? Christine Farrow. Row. John Miller got fired. Presumably. Guy took over. Raffertunes. Just look that up. Cravensworth. Wow, they went through. Oh my god, okay. Oh, that's interesting. Caviar. 10,000 a month. Travel expenses $190,000 in 1979. That's ridiculous. Butterscotch. $80. Ugh. I'm so disgusted by this guy. Emily Seinfeld became Emily Barnes. Gwyneth Madsen is no longer employed, but Gwyneth Cattrall is now listed. Caviar Gigua, strawberry butterscotch. Randorf Dove. Randorf Dove. Guy died. Most of the secretaries had been handpicked by Guy. Work time temp. Can't sugar plum. Strawberry, Chiqua, butterscotch, caviar, ball, Fred Gleason, root, clothing reimbursement. Wow, $1 million in '84. Jesus. Okay. Christine. What was her name? I just had it. Pharaoh. No. Do I not have a picture of her? And I only think that's her. He really does look like Miracle. Okay, let's look up her repertoire was a mix of religious and popular songs, recorded a few records, they seem lost to time. He's got the whole world in his hands. New Edison. Oh. Mary Beth was known for her adoptions. She adopted 2 children in the late 40s, Stuart and Mark. Stuart and Mark adopted. Her other son was adopted later, and according to a single line on one adoption site, under unusual circumstances. Mary Beth has been twice divorced, both times to her manager, Sterling. This ended her career with the religious audience she had been catering to. While she performed occasionally since then, she mostly faded into obscurity. She passed away 5 years ago at the age of 76 of a stroke. Small record label based in Los Angeles. Sterling Edison. So her husband printed it out. Okay, we'll do that in a sec. You'll also find a few references to New Edison and Mary Beth Clementine, sites about old records. One collector says that the Holy Grail is a re-release of the old rugged cross, and says that the first edition was originally published before she legally changed her name. Another site claims that the police had to be called to New Edison Records after its owner, Sterling Edison, got into a physical altercation in public, leading to a divorce. There are no site sources or evidence, and the site's content seems user-submitted. There's an email address at the bottom and the phrase, "Send me your stories about old Hollywood." I'll add them to the page. There's like 8 things I want to search here. Oh, okay. Edison Records was one of the first record labels named after Thomas Edison. The history of the company seems very unimportant, except for potentially a lawsuit that filed in 1949, Edison Records versus Edsel. A website about lawsuits mentions this as a fun case because the name of the lawsuit was actually the biggest problem for the person being sued. A record producer who called himself Edison was immediately outed as not actually being named Edison. Edsel was a German last name, and at the time of the founding of the company, the US was at war with Germany. The company's founder immediately settled to try to get the case to go away, but the damage was done. The Old Rugged Cross is a popular hymn that has been covered by many, many artists. You won't find much relevant information about it online. Okay, I gotta get rid of this saxophone. Sorry. No. The Grandorf School for the Deaf, formerly Grandorf Dove, is located about an hour from where the Retreat offices used to be in Butler County, but serves much of that part of Pennsylvania and nearby Ohio. According to their website, it was formerly named Grandorf Dove from 23 to 90 because Grandorf was the last name of the founder and Dove is the Danish word for deaf. The founder had issues with government translators, leading to an odd transcription issue. I wonder if that's why there was that translator in the records for Root Tree. In 1990, it was renamed to better represent the school's purpose and to correct the embarrassing lack of effort and awareness demonstrated by the government officials in those early days. The staff is listed on the website. You scan through all of the biographies and find that the principal, Miss Ford, is fluent in 5 languages, including ASL. She has been working at the school for over 15 years. Ms. Ford's bio also mentions she's not deaf herself, but rather learned sign language to communicate with the deaf. It mentions that she was responsible for securing funding for the Hudson Wing. Uh-oh. The Hudson Wing was an expansion to Grandorf Dove, first built in 1982. Oh, god damn, guy. It's a separate, much smaller building half a block from the main campus and operates as a smaller independent school that offers free ASL courses for the family members, friends, and caretakers of deaf children. According to their history site, they got their name after the president of the Root Tree Company generously donated $250,000 towards the construction of the building. There's also a very vague history section that you can somewhat fill in with details from other information you've seen about the school. It mentions that the donation came at the insistence of an employee of Root Tree at the time. It mentions that she learned ASL from the main school before the Hudson Wing even existed to surprise her future husband who was deaf. After realizing how useful a service like this could be to non-deaf people that wish to better serve those with hearing issues, she convinced Root Tree management to invest in the school. The Hudson Wing opened and she became the first teacher at the new campus. At first, it only operated on weekends, but since then, it has added afternoon classes on some weekdays. So, Hudson Wing. 1982. Okay. Worktime Temp is a company with many offices all over the United States. The Root Tree Candy Company is listed on their site as one of the companies they do business with, though it's far from the only one you recognize. As far as you can tell, there's no connection between Worktime Temp and anyone related to your search. Okay, good to know. Did I do this? Oh, Root Tree France is one of the companies created to manufacture and distribute Root Tree candies. Summer of 79. Root Tree France was a non-starter. Negotiations broke down pretty late in the process after the company had already been formed, and the leadership of Root Tree went through a very large change soon after. It's meant to be Tristan Robert. Businessman who at one time was in negotiations to take over Root Tree France. He's still alive, and you come across an interview unrelated to Root Tree from a few months ago. It seems that other countries have not been immune to Root Tree mania, as you recognize the word Root Tree in one of the questions. It seems the interviewer snuck in a question about his experience with the company at the end of the 70s. The article is in French, and it takes some time to translate section by section. It mentions Guy by first name only, and the tale he tells is quite ugly. I would love to read this in the original French. The translation is as follows. Guy, the president of Root Tree, was one of the worst men I have ever met. He approached my wife about having an affair, which she refused. He then kept insisting that this was the best way to celebrate the end of our business contract. I don't think he expected her to say no, and I don't think he thought she would tell me what happened. I punched him in the face and refused to attend another meeting with this man. They lost a lot of money on this deal because not only was he a terrible person, but he was also a terrible businessman. When he died shortly after, it felt like the universe was working things out. I wasn't surprised to learn he had a secret child. He seemed to treat women like collectible pocket monsters. It seems mentioning Pokemon sidetracks the questions a bit, and the interview never returns to the subject of Root Tree. So, Guy and Tristan Robert punched him. That's when he lost the tooth. Fascinating. All right. What? Mary Beth's name. Does it? I mean, isn't her name Clementine? What is this trying to tell me? Nah. Quaker. Okay. Wow, I feel like progress is so slow on this one. I don't know if it's because I'm dumb or what. Sonia something. Let's put in all these pictures of Jackass here. That's him, eh? Oh, good. Yeah, that all locked in. Okay. This is Miracle. And I say that because all that stuff with Mary Beth happened in the late 40s. Preacher. Eat shit. Courtney May. Okay, so he's Stewart. I don't know what he does. The little one is Mark. And I'm guessing that they're Edisons and not Edsels. Because he changed his name. Oh, and he's gone on to have kids. Oh. Wait, so is he? Because he looks like Miracle. But this is the guy who has 2 kids and like even a grandchild. Huh. Mm. Vagina. Regina? Regina. So this is either Regina or this is Regina. I don't think. Oh, maybe. Yeah, I can mark them both as Regina. So I don't know. It's one of them. Okay. Mary, that's what I'm trying to do. Yeah. Mark. Really? Am I dumb? Should I have known that? Yes, because Regina's name is. Oh my god. Regina Salazar, right? Yeah, no, I'm dumb. So they're Clementines and not Edisons? And one of them's a cop. I don't know which. Ah! I did something. Okay, yeah, it is him. Oh, and she was in retail, so that's good. Oh, thank God. Okay. So then your wife isn't Regina, and you are not a police officer. But maybe we have something on you anyway. Mark Clementine. What? Crocodile Clementine is listed on a website titled The Infamy List. It's a massive list of criminals who are known for odd crimes. Although Mark's nickname would imply he hails from Florida, a lot of others on the list come from there, obviously, or Australia, Mark is listed as being from Los Angeles. He's a pretty big entry. He seems like a real piece of work. There's a very small note about him being the basket baby of 1950. Mark 1950. But most everything else comes from his adulthood. He lost his job in 75 as a pilot for a regional airline after he tried to board the wrong airline's plane. He was drunk. He was charged with trespassing and assault. In 1982, he was arrested for transporting smuggled animals over the Canadian-Mexican borders for an illegal reptile supplier in Los Angeles. First of all, what reptiles do we have up here? Jesus. He was apparently quite successful for the first 4 years, but was caught when he had to make an emergency landing in Portland after he was bitten on the foot by a crocodile, hence the nickname. Apparently, the Portland Telegraph, gotta write that down. Portland Telegraph is credited as having given him his nickname. His mugshot from this incident has been added to your photos. 1993, he was released on parole, but his freedom didn't last long. He was arrested in 94 in San Diego for violating it in an attempt to visit his daughter's graduation. He famously punched the principal, a man named Billy Sims. Punched Billy Sims, and that received National press. Oh boy. Oh, Jesus. Okay. Well, let's go take a look at Crocodile. Wow. Wow. Is there no, like, in jail, prisoner? No, eh? That's great. It's that damn saxophone again. F off. Okay, so we should look up, right, Billy Sims. As a principal of Sandstone Canyon High School, who had his 15 minutes of fame in 94 when he was punched by Crocodile Clementine at a graduation ceremony. Pretty much every news organization, from Trustworthy to Tabloid, seemed to have their own take on the altercation. It wasn't the punch that captured the nation's attention, however. Instead, it was Billy Sims' matter-of-fact response to the threat and his comments afterwards, as heard in a now famous audio clip from someone who was recording the ceremony. Billy saw Mark hop onto the graduation stage and said, "Sir, you'll want to sit down or we'll have a problem." At that point, Crocodile reportedly sucker punched him in the face. Billy, apparently only slightly dazed, said, "All right, sir, I guess we'll have a problem." Clementine tried to throw another punch, but Sims anticipated it and performed a maneuver that spectators described as a wrestling move mixed with a backward somersault, which immediately brought both men to the floor, with Sims straddling Clementine, keeping him neutralized. As security arrived, the recording captured someone asking, "How did you do that?" And Sims' response was famously, "Trust me, I'm as surprised as anyone." Dang. It's pretty funny. Portland Telegraph. Portland Telegraph. Mark Clementine. The Portland Telegraph was the one that provided the nickname Crocodile Clementine and has some details about Crocodile Clementine's first major arrest. He was flying weekly between Los Angeles, Juarez, and Vancouver in a small plane. His flights were very low, literally under the radar. He was only caught because he was bit by a crocodile on the leg and had to call in a mayday because he was losing blood. He tried to tell them that he was a crop duster who somehow cut his leg on a loose piece of metal in the cockpit, but the story seemed very odd, and controllers quickly alerted the police without informing him. When he landed, they were waiting and he was promptly arrested. Okay. You know who else grew up in Portland? Dirty Davy. You find an article about the dedication ceremony for the local Portland landmark called the Fountain of Youths. Ever since my cousin Vinny, I can't say youths without thinking of Utes. Anyway. Apparently, at the unveiling of the fountain, the mayor of Portland made a speech. There were performances by multiple local entertainers, as well as a ribbon cutting from the people most instrumental in bringing the fountain into fruition. The article calls out that all of the performers and speakers, with the exception of the mayor, were foster care alumni. Most of them grew up together as close friends. This includes poets, musicians, and dancers. Dirty Davy was listed as one of the musicians. Since Felix Fellows, aka 5Ps, was confirmed to be a Rucci, there's been a myriad of articles in his hometown's newspaper that mention him. Nothing appears to be new information. It all rehashes the News Time article and his web search results. The newspaper's music critic did review his latest album. They gave it a 3 on 5. Okay. Well, listen, this is already over an hour, and my brain is swimming. But we have made great progress here. We have locked in 8 people out of the 12. We have good leads on this guy. We need her last name. We need, I don't know what we need for him. And he's got, like, at least a daughter who's probably the eldest. So this is, like, an unknown woman. He's got a grandkid. And we don't know Regina. Oh, Yes, we do. Right? Salazar. We've got a last name. Too bad that these ones don't count. Yeah, he definitely looks like Miracle. Okay, so we'll call it here. Thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Smash subscribe if you really did. And I will be back with another episode probably sooner than... Well, probably in the next 24 hours. All right, thanks so much, and I'll catch you next time.